Hi guys, today we're going to be making my very requested vegan bread recipe. And we have everything we need here to make it except the flour. We have some coconut oil by Nutivia, we have some macadamia milk, we have some Himalayan pink sea salt, maple syrup, and some yeast. So the first thing we're gonna do today is add in some water. This is about a cup of warm or pretty hot water. I just added it in. Now we're gonna add in some yeast. Next, we're gonna be adding in 2 tablespoons of traditional yeast, not the quick yeast at the grocery store. So we're gonna add this in now. And then we're gonna add in a bit more. See, there we go. We're also gonna be adding in about 4 tablespoons of maple syrup, so I'm gonna add that in. Sorry guys, I'm doing this all one-handed. I don't have fancy tripods or a fancy big kitchen, so this is what you guys are getting. Okay, next we're adding in a warm big cup of macadamia milk. It's about a cup. So we'll add that in. We're also going to be adding in about 2 tablespoons of oil. I'm using coconut oil. It's in a solid state because it's winter. For the macadamia milk, you can also use unsweetened macadamia milk, or you can use unsweetened almond milk or unsweetened cashew milk. You can use any plant-based milk to make this recipe. And you can also use any type of oil, coconut oil, almond oil, anything you have on hand. Olive oil, it doesn't really matter. So right now we have everything combined. We're just going to give it a quick mix. And yes, the coconut oil is in a solid state, but it's not going to matter later on. So we're just going to let that sit there. We're going to wait about 5 minutes or until the yeast has made this frothy. So now we're gonna add in a tiny little bit of Himalayan pink sea salt. You can see there, it's not even 1/4 of a teaspoon. It's just a little bit. So you can just, I don't know, grind a little bit in there, like a pinch of sea salt, I suppose. So we're gonna put that in there. We're gonna be adding in 6 cups of either whole wheat flour or just regular white flour. It's up to you. Just so you guys remember, please wait 5 minutes or until you see that the yeast on top is frothy before adding in the flour. So now we've had the flour added. We have about 6 cups added. We're gonna be mixing that up now. And what we're trying to aim for is a really non-sticky dough. So we want it to be all blended together, all kneaded together, but we don't want the bread dough to be sticky. Now, that said, I am a very, I guess a lazy baker. I don't usually measure things. I usually just add in, I eyeball quantities, and I don't really mind if my bread dough is slightly sticky, but if you are a perfectionist baker, you're probably, I don't know, watching this video and shuddering with the way I'm giving direction or the way I'm doing things. So I apologize if you're a perfectionist baker and watching this, but believe me, I have had sticky bread dough or eyeballed quantities, and my bread has come out perfect. And I don't eat this bread because I have celiac disease, but the rest of my family doesn't have celiac disease, and every time I make the bread, they tell me whether it was good or not. And the only time I've had flop bread or bread that wasn't that great was when I added in flaxseed, which you can do with this recipe, or chia seeds just for fun. You can have a seed type bread or add in rosemary. Now I've added in chia seeds and flaxseed and had great bread, but the one time I didn't have great bread was when I added in rosemary and flaxseed. It just didn't turn out great. It didn't taste that great. My husband didn't like it that much. So you can pretty much, this is a pretty good recipe. You could even add in some raisins and some cinnamon to make it kind of raisin bread, a vegan raisin bread, if you will. And there's lots of different things you can add in. You can really just play around with this recipe. If you don't have maple syrup on hand, you can add in agave nectar. If you don't have agave nectar or maple syrup on hand, you can add in just plain regular sugar, just half the recipe. So instead of adding in 2 tablespoons of maple syrup or agave, you add in 1 tablespoon of sugar. And you can add in any type of sugar you want. You could add in golden, you could add in organic, whatever you like. And by the way, as you're kneading this and mixing it up, if it's too dry for your liking, just add in a bit more warm water. So I'm just going ahead and adding a bit more warm water to my mixture, just to make it easier for me. So we're just kneading right now. We're just kneading away. You should probably knead for between 5 and 10 minutes. I usually knead for about 5 and 10 minutes. The more you knead it, the more it's going to taste better, I find. Though like I said before, it's kind of funny, like I'm acting like I've tasted this, but I haven't. I've never tasted this bread that I've made. I've had celiac disease for a pretty long time now. I haven't eaten bread since the age of 15 or 16, I suppose. Around there, 15, 16 is when I stopped eating bread. So it's been a while. I haven't eaten gluten-free bread for roughly about 5 years because, to be honest, I've tasted every brand out there. Can't say I really like the taste of cardboard in whatever way it comes in. This is what we got going on right now. This is how it should look. It's not slimy. We're just gonna knead this some more on the counter. We're just gonna knead that. As you can see, it's kind of like really, think of this as Play-Doh, but really, really tough Play-Doh, and you're just going to shape it around and move it. Like I said before, I am not a perfect baker. I am a stay-at-home mom, and I just happen to like baking and playing around with recipes till I get what I want. So I created this recipe trying to get what I want. It's probably similar to some of the recipes out there, I'm not sure. This is what we have. This is our this is our dough. We are going to be putting this back in the bowl. Boom. And we're going to be covering this and giving it a good nap for roughly about an hour and a half. I'm going to leave it in the bowl for, and you can leave it in the bowl. It doesn't really matter how long you leave it in a bowl. If it rises up to about, you always use a big bowl, by the way, when you're rising bread. It needs to expand. It's going to expand to probably about the entire bowl, and maybe even a bit more. My bread usually gets up to about here, and it's just like a big dome thing happening. So give your bread quite some room to rise, and just be aware that you could put this bread in the oven probably after about an hour. I've let this bread rise for about 2 hours just because I'm like running around after my kids and I'm slightly absent-minded. So the bread is very forgiving, and you can let it rise for between probably about 40 minutes. You're probably good if you really want to get it in the oven, and you're probably still good if you put it in the oven after 2 hours. So we're gonna wait. We're gonna wait a bit. I'll let you know how long we wait for this bread. So we have this in there. Oh, Smeagol's visiting. Okay, so we're gonna say night-night to the bread and give it a nap. There we go. It's been about an hour, and like I said before, you can wait about 30 minutes or so, but if you wait up to 2 hours, it's fine. And this is what we have. So it's rose a bit. It hasn't gone over the bowl like I thought it might, but I usually don't measure, so it does usually go over the bowl. So this is what we have right now. We're gonna take this out. There we go. And so we're just gonna knead it a little bit more. Just go like that. Pick up any little bits left in the bowl. And you just, what we have here is we have a silicone, I guess oven, I don't know, bread thing. I don't know the names for things, but I usually prefer glass, but our glass one broke, so this is what we have left. It's pretty old, as you can tell, and so we're just gonna, what I did is I put coconut oil in there, so greased it, and now I'm just adding this, and we're just going to move it around to make it the same shape as the tray. So as you can see here, I just got a little bit of coconut oil, and I'm just gonna smooth it over the top like this. And that's just gonna help it a little bit, get a bit glazed or a bit more golden on top. And now I have set our oven to 370, and as soon as it stops preheating, I'm going to pop this loaf right in there. We are gonna bake this loaf for about 20 minutes to 40 minutes. It really depends on what it looks like. I like to leave it in a little bit longer. You want the top of your bread to be fairly golden and brown. And if you take it out prematurely, the inside of the bread won't be cooked. So it really, really varies depending on your oven and length, like, I don't know. It really, really varies depending on your oven. And now we're just gonna add it. So the bread stayed in about half an hour, and this is what it looks like. I'll take it out for you guys to see. And this is what it looks like out. All nicely molded. And this is what the bread looks like. Maybe we'll cut it for you. Good like that? Yep. Pretty yummy. Smells pretty good. Say hi, Silky.
Ah!
Are you excited for bread?
Yes! I want some bread and butter.
Oh, vegan butter.
I want some bread and vegan butter.
Okay, so the winner of the Vegan Police Shop giveaway on my Instagram is Fluorescent Herbivore. You'll be winning a Ferocious Vegan shirt in the size of your choice and a vegan lunch bag. Congrats. That was my bread recipe video that you guys requested a ton and told me to make over and over again. I finally made it for you. So happy New Year's, guys. Peace. Have a great week.
I make lots of vegan stuff and I love it and I love it.
You trying to get a thumbs up? Okay. Okay.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Thumbs up if you like this video. Subscribe if you'd like more recipes.
Subscribe for you some much recipes.
What do you think, Jetty?
Good. 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 Hey, the lens is dirty again. Imagine that. Like we have kids or something.
Is that good? Is it yummy?